So we're going to follow it on from our handstands. You may have missed that one out, which is perfectly fine. But we are going to use the wall because I've moved everything out of the way. So we will start. We're going to start child pose here. So big toes meet up, knees a little wider, and just soften back into your child's pose. Neck soft, shoulders forward, and those fingers nicely spread, and just lift up that tummy a little. So we're not sort of collapsing down into your mat. You're quite strong, your arms are strong, your tummy is in, the neck is quite soft and long. Now from here we're going to inhale, curl ourselves. You've got that lovely little cat feel to the stretch. Bring your weight over the arms, broad across the tummies, the ribs are in. From there we're going to come down just very gently into our arms, and then from there inhale, a little lift. So shoulders are going to really draw back, the chest is moving forward, buttocks firm. We're not coming all the way up here, we're staying with those elbows bent, drawing the shoulder blades in and down the back. From here we'll release, pushing back into your hands and gently moving back into your child's pose. Spread of the fingertips, softness around the neck. We're doing two more. So inhale, a lovely scoop of the spine, keeping the tummy quite strong. Exhale, elbows are not going wide, they're close in towards your waist. Very slowly down onto that floor again, thighs firm, buttocks pushing themselves nice and long. Inhale, open up the front of that body again, a little bit higher possibly. Exhale, down to your floor, press back into your arms, your hydraulic arms, releasing back through to that child pose. Keep the tummy buttons pulled in one more time, rounding into the back. Exhale, down we go, ease into that floor. Toenails pushing into the mat, strong legs lifting, possibly a little higher, but just really gauging as to how your back feels with that movement. Exhale, releasing, pressing back into your arms, and just gently easing, maybe child pose. Some of us are going to come through to your downward dog, so heels downwards, buttocks lifting high in the air, softening the neck. So if you did that last video, my handstand video, you may have wanted to sort of spend a little bit more time with a couple more handstands. Otherwise, we've moved along, and when you feel like it, you can join in with this little wall class. From here, we're going to release down onto our knees. Now we are going to shuffle back into your wall and take a lovely deep stretch through the front of your thighs, your quads. So you're going to bring that knee right up into your wall. Your left foot comes forward, ankle bone to knee straight line. Now I know this is never quite the easiest of places to be, so that might be where you need to stay. If you can, you're going to sit up. So when you sit up, you don't want to arch through that back. You want to keep your backside really tucking in and underneath you. So lengthen your tail, keep the ribs, tummies in, push back. If you can get back to that heel, you can take the heel just off center into more of that Virasana, your hero pose. So the heel is just shaving past that hip. You're pushing down into that left foot and drawing that body back towards the wall. If you feel confident with that, you can bring those arms up. You can't quite see from there, but if you are sitting back into that wall, make sure your hip doesn't swing out to the side. Keep that hip back and down and in, so the hips stay really square. So we shall stay another breath, that lovely deep stretch through the front of the thigh, front of the hip. Tummy's in, soft around the neck and shoulders. We're coming back out of that side. Before we go to the other side, you're going to creep this foot further away from you. So from there, we're moving the hips away from the wall. So we're not back here, you're moving those hips forward. So it's quite a different feel. You'll find that it just moves a little bit further up into the top of the hip, into the hip flexors. You can stay. Of course, you've always got those blocks or books you can pop those hands on. Some of you will come up, but if you are going up here, make sure your backside hasn't gone backwards. You keep those hips moving forward. You're going further still, the arms can extend And further still, you can just let those arms drift back, but don't go too far. You're wanting to lengthen through the front of the thigh. You don't want that backside to be poking back out into your wall. You want to keep the tail tucking underneath you, finding that lovely deep stretch through the front of your thigh. We're going to release and swap sides. So left knee into that wall. And again, use a bit of height if you need that height with a bit of block or a book. Otherwise, stay down if it's very, very tight. And of course, walking a lot just lately. I think all of us have been doing quite a bit of walking. Those thighs, the quads can be feeling quite tight. So just gently lifting up. What you don't want to find is that backside popping out, the chest dropping forward. Tailbone is tucking itself under. Think of lengthening. As you lengthen, you'll find more length through the front of the thigh. You're sort of pushing down into your right foot, making sure you're not arched through the back. It's amazing how many ways we can find to cheat these movements. So holding. Some of us will have the arms up. Make sure this hip doesn't pop up to the side. Keep that hip really tucking in and down. So breathing, softening, pushing back into your right foot, drawing the body back into our wall, whatever wall that's there, releasing back. And we're going to walk this foot further away, so lunging out from that wall this time. So find that stretch through the thigh, through the front of the hip. The top of that hip will feel that release at this point. And again, maybe staying with the hands on blocks or books. You can stay, or you're going to, as you lift up, don't worry about lifting up here. If you find your backside goes back to that heel, keep the buttocks moving forward. As if I've got that hand here and you're being pushed with those hips forward. If you can go further than that, arms can lift. Some of you, those arms will drift back. Now I know this is not the nicest of spots to be for a lot of us. There's a few of us that really enjoy the stretch, but a lot of us do not. It seems to sort of clear out a room quite quickly when I'm teaching in a class. So releasing, often people will take off for a little break to the toilet. So from there, we're going to come out. You're going to bring both knees up into that wall. Lie yourselves down onto your tummy. So shins are up that wall. Buttocks, again, they're not popping up here. They're lengthened. You want to keep as much length through the lower back. You can stay with those forearms and just take a little bit of an opening through the chest. Make sure the shoulders are drawing their way back. Some of you will go further, lifting up, but you're not lifting the hips so much as they're staying grounded, and you're opening up through the front of that body. Keep the neck soft. You don't have to look up. You can look down. Another breath there. And releasing. So as you come back out of all of that, we're going to release. Take yourselves, there's no elegant way of getting out of there particularly, but we're going to come through to a dog pose, walking your feet further away from your wall, walking back, bend those knees, and just sit yourself on the wall. It's a bit of a counter pose really to find some more length, some release through that lower back. So as you hang forward, you can stay knees bent, or you can slide up the wall and find the diagonal, and find that nice stretch into the back body. Find your breath again. Maybe the legs are completely firm and pulled up and straight. Maybe they're staying slightly bent. So from here, we're going to take those hands, push ourselves away, bend the knees, and again just taking that nice slow gentle rounding of the back, rolling ourselves all the way up. You can bring your arms with you as you breathe in, very long and tall, and exhale those hands coming into your chest. Now we're going to take a couple of standing poses. Your right foot is going to turn out. Now we don't want that foot right up to the wall. We're keeping it further away. Sometimes a block or a book is quite nice to just pop in here. Then it reminds you not to have that foot quite so close. The left foot is out from you, so heel lining up with that instep. We're going to take our right hand. So you've got to reach out that bit further with the hand on your wall. So your head hasn't drifted forward, your backside hasn't popped out behind you. Everything has pulled itself in to that center line. This top arm, you're going to reach it across and reach out for that wall. So you're getting a lovely deep stretch through the side body, through the underside of those waists. Pull up those thighs strongly, and everything is on the same plane as that foot. Your head, bottom hand, top hand, they're all lining up with that bottom foot. If your neck's feeling fine, you look upwards. So some of you will go down a bit lower, some of you will be staying quite a bit higher. So as you inhale, we shall release out of that side. Turn your foot, just releasing down, down, down to your mat, lengthening through that back, softening through the neck, drawing up those big tummies. We're going to turn to the wall, and now some of us are going to just hold and stay, or maybe take child pose. If you feel like it, you can kick up and bring yourselves into a handstand. If you'd rather resting back through child pose, it's a little opportunity to take a few breaths. But otherwise, you're in your shivers, in your don't go through the painting, in your handstand, staying, breathing, and releasing. Not quite the right spot to be in, I don't think. So we're going to take the left foot forward and your right foot back. So as you come back up, take your time, reaching that left hand out onto your wall, ribs and tummies in, right arm can reach across. So you can keep the body firm, keep the front of the body pulled in, and maybe those hands will go further down, top arm lifting. Find your breath, feel that nice length through the side waist, the side body. Make sure you're not, as soon as that head has drifted forward, your backside will have come out behind you, so you're all out of that lovely line. So you bring your torso back in, you bring your head over the foot, buttocks underneath you, and then find the length through the side body. We're going to inhale all the way back up, turn those feet parallel, and you're going to come forward over those legs again, so lengthening all the way forward and down. Some of us will stay here. Some of you are going to move to dog pose. I'm just going to move a little bit further this way because I'm going to crash into my flowers. Otherwise, staying, or child pose. If you feel like it, you're coming through into a handstand. So again, you can play with your balance in your handstand, keeping that strength, keeping that length. If you did the handstand class, you'd be lovely and warmed up for a couple more handstands. So as you release, you can hang, you can rest, or you've stayed with that child pose. Otherwise, we're going to bring those hands back onto our wall, and we're going to take our right foot forward, not right up to the wall again, it's that little bit further away, and that way we have to reach further out to that wall. So we have the heels just either side of a straight line. You've got your hip bones staring straight down. Again, if you had a book sitting on that back, it's not going to fall off when we move our arms. Now you're going to bring your right hand up. So your right foot's forward and your right hand is up. Your left hand is down. Your head remains over that foot. So hands, foot and head, they're all on that same line. Make sure this back leg is working, it's not relaxing back behind us. And then when you start to twist, you've got the wall, so you can really take a lovely full twist through the top half, but we're not moving those hips, we're not moving those legs. The big toe, that front foot, is pushing itself into the floor, and then you take that lovely revolved twist, keeping that front leg pulling back and in towards the hip socket. We're going to release, take those hands back onto your wall, and we shall swap to the opposite side. So left foot forward. Again, it's not up to the wall, it's further away. So we've got more length. We're going to take this, I'm going to move again. I haven't really positioned my mat in the right place. So taking the left hand, left foot forward, left hand is up. Pull up the thighs. Think of turning your thighs towards each other. Your right hand is down, so everything lining itself up with that bottom foot as you turn and you look around under that arm. And again, you breathe. So you're pulling the front leg back into the hip socket, feeling that there's a lot of length through that torso, and keeping this hip pulled back towards the back wall. So it's not going to drift around towards the center, the front of the room, or the side of the room. So as you come out of this side, bend that leg, releasing. We're going to turn ourselves back around there, take ourselves back to sit. The buttocks, both cheeks remain seated on our wall. You can take your left arm, if you can, it's the whole of that arm across. Right hand can come back onto the wall to find a lovely rotation, a lovely deep twist. Now some of us are going to stay with that version. Others, you're going to pick up that right foot, sit yourselves back down there, and then take that same twist. So buttocks remain on that wall, twisting, turning. Of course, it's going to be a deeper twist. So if that's too much, just stick with the 2 feet on your mat. Coming back out of that side, we're coming through. So we're going other way, so both feet can stay, both little cheeks on that wall, twisting. If you happen to be going further, ankle bone sits just above that knee, and the right hand is moving across the left thigh, turning, twisting, keeping this foot quite nicely flexed here as well. So just another deep full release through those shoulders and your back. And coming back out of that. So from here, we're coming down and we're going to take our feet right back into our wall. We're going to bring our forearms down onto the floor and clasp the hands. Now you want your elbows to stay lining up with your shoulders. Another version is to sort of measure yourselves fingertips to elbows and then bring the hands round. From there, we're coming up. So maybe sticking with those toes on the floor. We've got the head. It's trying to move its way back to those toes. It's way up off that floor, so you're not collapsing down here. Now some of us, again, we're staying. There's a few of you that might feel like walking our feet back up halfway. Now that's quite a lot of weight on your arms and your shoulders, so if it's not comfortable, stay dog pose. Another nice version is just to lie yourselves onto your tummies. Bring those bodies lovely and long, and maybe having a block between your hands, maybe bring the palms together and just drawing your armpits downwards to your floor. So wherever you might be, if you're on the mat, if you're lying down, stay there. Otherwise we shall release, softening, breathing, relaxing. Now most of us will take that same version, so whether it's lying on the floor or dog pose, legs, your dolphin pose, or walking the feet up the wall. Some of you might take your, and this is for people who know what they're doing, they take their full forearm balance. So you might be coming up to forearm balance and holding here. Again, pushing that floor away from you, pulling up those thighs firmly, ribs, tummies nicely pulled back in. So that again, there's a lot of strength because you don't want a relaxed body. It becomes much heavier when it is relaxed. So we're coming back out and releasing, possibly to that child pose. If you feel like taking a little stretch, interlacing the fingers, coming up into the crown of the head and bringing your arms forward and overhead. Little tummy button, lovely and pulled towards your back body, shoulders away from your ears. Gently release back out of there, and we're going to bring those hands back to a downward dog. Length through your back. We're walking our feet up towards our wall. So the feet, depending on the length of your hamstrings, how long they're feeling, you might have the feet quite close to the wall, you might have them quite narrow. Others, the feet are going to be wider. You might even need those knees bent. If you can take those arms off the floor and just extend them up the wall, tummy is in, leaning, and you can find that lovely traction, that nice feeling of length into your back. Head hangs, pulling up those thighs a little more, and keeping your tummy button quite lovely and firm and pulled in. So another breath. Again, we're upside down. It's another inversion. Downward dogs being another form of an inversion, anything with the head lower than the heart, lower than the hips. So we shall bend, we shall release, and we're going to walk those your feet away. And we're going to come up to standing. So again, you don't want to stand up too quickly having been upside down. So you just walk your way back, bend your legs, and sort of think of curling just vertebrae by vertebrae, keeping those feet pushing down, keeping those buttocks very, very firm, drawing up that tummy button. We're going to take the hands back onto your wall, and we're going to bend our knees. Now draw up your tummy, firm your backside. Now as you take your left foot off the floor, make sure you don't move your right foot. It doesn't try and cheat. It's not going to turn out. Big toe pushing down. Left leg is going to extend away. So pull up the front of that body very, very firmly. You want to check that this right cheek is really working. So, and again, it's hard to see from that angle. So from here, you're not letting this hip fall away from you. It's underneath your body. Draw up that tummy so it's not dropping off to the side. You're not drifting. You're keeping it really strong and steady. So the buttocks are holding in here. If you can straighten the leg. If it doesn't feel comfortable, keep it bent. But otherwise, this little hip, that's where you want to keep your eye on, that little hip. It's not drifting off. You're not hinging off the joints. You're using your muscle. So we shall release. We'll do the other side. So again, using that wall for support, for balance. And when you take your right foot away, don't let this foot move. It stay pointing straight ahead. Your tummy, your ribs are in. As you move the leg back out, watch this leg. Watch for any little weaknesses there. You don't let this hip fall away. It's tucking firmly underneath you. So you are really working the muscle of those legs, the thighs, the tummy is also quite lovely and strong. The back leg, if it's relaxed, it's going to be quite a heavy hold. So keep that strong as well. Glutes. And if you want to, straighten the leg. If it's not comfortable for you, keep it bent. But again, these little muscles here, your glutes are really holding. So you're not drifting and just sort of sinking into the joint. You're using the muscle to hold and steady. So when we come back out of that side, we're going to sort of do the same, but not quite. You're going to bring, it's going to come over here, right foot. Now, if it's too difficult having the foot placed on your wall, you're going to just pop the heel on a chair or maybe a windowsill, or just prop it up on something a little bit of height, depending on the length of those legs. So we're going to inhale tall again. Arms, shoulders, hips right through to that bottom foot in a straight line. Exhale, extending towards your wall, lengthening through the back, lengthening through these hamstrings, lifting the front of the body in firmly, keeping this leg strong. And again, little cheeks. Inhale back up. Exhale, we're going to twist. So it's opposite arm to leg, left arm across that right leg. Make sure that right cheek doesn't poke out to the side. Again, it's a wee bit tricky to show you there. So from here, that hip doesn't swing out to the side. As you twist, it stays tucking underneath your body the whole time. So try and isolate the top half a little, broad across your shoulders. Feel those tummies, the ribs, move your way around there. Thumbs are pointing towards the ceiling. You're not doing anything bizarre. And then gently release. Now if you can, we're staying with this foot where it is. And we're going to swivel. So your bottom foot is pointing straight ahead. Tummy, ribs are in. Buttocks are tucking under. Arms outstretched. Lift your left arm, possibly holding. Or we're reaching over. So it's a little bit similar a shape to triangle pose, Trikonasana. So keeping that backside very firm and tucked in, pulling up those thighs, making sure your head remains in line with that top foot, and find the stretch through the side waist. From here, we're going to inhale ourselves up. One last one with this leg. We can bend the leg, Turn, turn, turn. We're going to turn right the way around so you can press that foot against your wall. Drop the tummy, firm the buttocks. Some people like to have a little bit more height, not exactly that much height, but maybe a block or a couple of books there. We're going to leave the left hand on the floor. Back foot turns to face the side of the room. And you're going to open this up into Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon pose. Now, pulling up those thighs very firmly, buttocks nice and strong. And when you've got both feet anchored to the wall and the floor, you can really work the line of the pose because you don't have to balance. So if you can manage to, you look up, pull up those thighs, releasing. You can stay here, or keeping that thumb in line with that big toe, turning. Maybe this hand sits on that back side, nice and flat across that back, and draw those thighs up strongly, and twisting. Breathing, keep that front leg pulling into the hip socket. One more breath. We shall release. So bring that foot to your floor, bending your knees. Push through the feet and roll up. We'll take a nice breath there. And releasing, we're going to do the same to the other side. So left foot on your wall or on your chair, back of the chair, the seat of the chair. Inhale, tall. Keep that bottom leg nice and strong and firm underneath you. Pull up those thighs, tummies in, reaching long, exhaling. And just take that lovely length through the back of your legs. It's very similar, again, to this shape. Find in yoga you do tend to sort of recreate shapes, whether you might be standing, sitting, or possibly upside down. So just extending, pulling up those legs. As you inhale, we're coming all the way nice and tall again. And this time, opposite arm, right arm goes forward. Make sure this hip doesn't do that as you twist. Keep the bottom half very steady, very still. And it's the top half you rotate round. So you breathe in a bit taller. Pull up those thighs that weeny bit more. And twisting. Ribs are in. Buttocks are firm, thighs of both legs very pulled up and strong. We shall inhale all the way back up. So we're going to swivel, swiveling around and around and around. Inhale up, pull up those thighs and extending out to that side stretch. So again, it's very similar shape to Trikonasana. So easing through those side bodies. Sorry about my back to you, but maybe it's quite good to have a back view as well as a front view. Finding that strength through the glutes, the tummy, the ribs, those thighs, both legs. Inhale back up and we're turning, we're swiveling. So we're going to swivel, taking those hands to a couple of blocks or maybe a book. Pull up that front leg, that bottom leg, that standing leg is strong. This little cheek again, that's really firm. It's not going to fall out to the side. We're going to turn our back foot. If you had a little line, heel along the floor, from that floor up to the instep, and then from there we're going to open this up to Ardha Chandrasana, your half moon pose. Again, if you've got the balance, you're looking to that top hand. Draw up those thighs as strongly as possible. Pull up the tummy, the ribs are in, it's not an arch, you're not back bending. We're going to swivel back round to the front, thumb lining up with that foot. And slowly we are twisting. So maybe taking the arm, maybe leaving it on the hip. So pull up that standing leg, keep pushing the back foot onto your wall. The toes with this version are pointing straight down at your floor. And you breathe. So make sure you're not holding your breath. As you breathe out, possibly we will go further. I'm shaking actually. Feel this pose, let that IT band work. Release and coming back out onto your floor. Little bend to the knees. Push downwards into the feet. We're rolling all the way back up. Nice big breath at that top end. And exhaling, releasing. So we are going to lay ourselves down onto our floor from here. I think we've done enough walls for today. We're going to come in sideways to the wall, so your buttocks are right up into that wall, and then you can swing yourself around. You can stay lying here. There's variations for those legs. If you feel like taking a little bit of an arch here, you're going to take those arms down, the legs are bent, and you're going to push the feet into the wall. Lift yourselves up, open up. So knees, hips, shoulders, almost finding that straight line, gently rounding. Think of rounding from the top of the back, curling back down, and placing the buttocks back to the floor. 2 more. Inhale, press the feet into the wall, curling the backs, curling all the way up as high as you can. You can use that wall, push into the wall. Exhaling, curling, releasing. Some of you won't be doing this. You'll just be resting your legs up that wall. One last one. Pressing back down and lifting. And all the way back up onto the front of those shoulders. And slowly curling, rounding your backs to your mat. And then just letting those legs rest up the wall. Shoulders relaxing down towards the wall as well, so the neck has got length. Chin is slightly tucked in. You never want that chin to be up here. If it is, find a blanket, find a pillow. And just as you exhale, soften the body into your mat. Shoulders relaxed. So this little clip, it's really quite a lovely one to tack on to those handstands. With the handstand video, you can repeat it, so you can stop and do a few handstands rather than just the 1 or 2 before you can continue on to this little section. So I shall leave you. Do stay as long as you'd like. Take some leg variations if you want to, maybe Baddha-Konasana. Maybe legs wide, just really up to how you feel. And thank you so much for joining me Saturday afternoon or morning afternoon. It's actually lunchtime. I think I'm going to go and have something to eat. So I shall see you next time.